All right, hello everybody. This is Todd from the Table Ready Podcast. So again, tonight we're back again for the next edition of the Combat Patrol to Crusade. Words are hard sometimes. So we're going to do one of the few that we have left, and that this time we're going to attack the Grey Knights, the Sons of Titan. If you don't know anything about the Grey Knights in particular, the Grey Knights are a offshoot of the Space Marines themselves. They are derived from, what shall we say? Let's say they were spawned from the Heresy because of the events that happened there. So these are a relatively new sect of the Space Marines in the world of Space Marines, that is. So they came somewhere between the second founding and the breakup of the legions, and they were meant to, what's the best way to put this, protect humanity from themselves and from the demons in the greater world. So what we're going to do with that, get my stuff straight here. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, so what we're doing here is we're going to go over some of the things that are new in the news before we touch on that. And the first and foremost is, if you haven't seen, of course, the Maelstrom book is out, and people are out there playing their games with making their new characters with the Crucible of Champions. And if you're really interested in getting involved in and making your own, and you don't really want to buy the book in particular, it just came out on New Recruit. I've wanted to actually do a episode of just creating some characters and playing around with some of the stuff that's in there. I just found out about it probably about 2 hours ago that it's actually on there. So we're going to try and do that probably next episode, play around with some of the characters, stuff like that. But I wanted to get this down because we do only have a few more combat patrols factions to do before we're finished with all the ones that we've done last year. And before we get into the Grey Knights in particular, I just wanted to go over, and if anybody has some thoughts on some of them that you'd be interested in hearing, you want to maybe even talk about it when I come on, I can set up a time, we can talk about it, because a lot of the ones that are left are not my particular expertise. One that I have been saving is near and dear to my heart, and that is the Eldari. But the biggest problem with the Eldari as right now is the fact that the Eldari have a lot of different builds and a lot of different ways to do stuff, and I'm kind of fuddled with it all the time, trying to figure out exactly what I would want to do for the small 1,000-point fight to start off a crusade. The other one that we do have is the Leagues of Votan, which I am not 100% familiar with. Drukhari is another one. Again, I don't even have a Drukhari player in my group, so that's going to be a hard one to kind of work through. But list building is one of my favorite things to do, so we're going to keep up on that. Gene Stealer Cult, of course, is the last one that I need to do. So we're going to take some time and get through a couple of those. We might even go through and just work on maybe putting 2 of them in an episode, because I'd really like to finish some of these up. So, but Grey Knights actually ended up being a really, really easy one because there wasn't a whole lot of ways to play around with it. Um, if you're if you're interested in Grey Knights, getting the box set is actually kind of an amazing box set to play with. It is over 600 points if you play it exactly the way it is. It does technically have two characters, but one is in a big metal box. So that, of course, makes things a little more interesting. So we're going to start with the basics. What you get in the combat patrol. The one thing that makes this one kind of a downfall for me is you get Castellan Crow. Not only do you get a named character, you can't even like generic this guy at all. So that really kind of hurts ever getting a second copy of this box, but the rest of the models are actually pretty good. If you do know somebody else that plays or would want this model just as a hobby tool, uh, of course, it would be a good box to double up on because everything else in the box is actually really good. So, Castellan Crow, good important character. Also, the downfall to this box because you'll never need more than one of that model. So, but the positive thing is if you bought him separately, he's a $48 box set right now just for that one character. So he's a little pricey on his own. So if you include it in the combat patrol box, it actually makes him more manageable. So what else do you get in that box? Okay, you get 5 Terminators. These are the Brotherhood Terminators. You can build them as paladins instead. There's not a whole lot of difference. They're both Terminators. Paladins, of course, are the more elite version of them. But I mean, when you're talking about elite Terminators, how elite do you go? So very simple, very, very simple. The other thing that you do get is a strike squad. The nice thing with the strike squad is you can build them as hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. Purgation squad, or sorry, the names are always just a little goofy for me just because I don't deal with them on a regular. Interceptor squads, purgation squads. Oh, yeah, sorry, purgation squads or interceptor squads. Correct. All right. So you can also build them as both of those. Obviously, for the sake of argument and the fact that you're going to want strike squads, you're going to want to build these strike squads up, at least the 10-man squad, so you have a nice rounded army, and you can still play the combat patrol. Now, the last thing that is in there is a Venerable Dreadnought, and he does have, of course, a couple of weapon options. What does he have in the combat patrol? Hold on one second. I believe the always the preferred way in olden days was the auto cannons, but I don't think that they can have the auto cannons anymore. Let me just double check this, just because I like to get my facts straight. The combat patrol, I picked the wrong one. Data sheets, Venerable Dreadnought. He has the twin las cannon and the fist for the combat patrol. Okay, that's what I thought. Which is, of course, is an incredible choice of weapons for this character. He also has the Stormbolter melee weapons. He has has the basically he can help them hit other units with his ability. So he is actually pretty good on his own. He is a good choice of model. But that is still the old gray box Venerable Dreadnought from, editions and editions ago. We really need some kind of upgrade to that model, in my opinion. So that's what you're working with. There's only 4 squads in here: the Castellan Crow, um, the Venerable Dreadnought, the Brotherhood Terminators, and the 10-man Strike Squad. So, and like I said, that is like over 600 points altogether. Um, and it's only 17 models. So you're talking elite army, no doubt about it. So we're gonna what would I add in order to make this squad this up to 1,000 points? So obviously, like I said before, having that named character in a crusade kind of meh, not really interested. Um, but you really want that model. He's a good model. He does a lot of work for the Grey Knights themselves. He does have the biggest thing that he has is the Gate of Infinity, and that allows you at the end of your opponent's fight phase, if you're not engaged, you can pick up units and put them back in strategic reserve. And of course, what they can do from that is deep strike back onto the table in your turn. So that is a very good thing. While he's leading a unit, he adds +1 to the attack characteristic of purifying flame weapons. And of course, we'll get into that in just a moment. He does have a 4-up invulnerable save. He does have he can reroll a hit. So he is pretty tough. Even as a named character, he is pretty tough. He does bring a lot to the Grey Knight table. So what I would add is, and this is Castellan Crow can only go with purifiers. Purifiers are one of the squad choices. So obviously, I would add purifiers for him to be equipped to. And purifiers, if you're not aware, they do have those purifying flame weapons, which are basically like a flamethrower, but a shot. So it doesn't have the dissects, it doesn't have the torrent. It is an 18-inch range, only 1 attack though. Ballistic skill 3, strength 4, -2 AP, which is the really nice thing, 1 damage. They also have anti-infantry and ignores cover and psychic on those weapons. So it's a really cool weapon. And of course, when you add Castellan Crow, uh, that added. I just forgot what I was talking about. That did add the um, +1 to the attack, so that gives them double the attacks for that purifier squad. So really cool choices, really good squad for him to be in. It definitely helps the attacks, and of course, uh, their special rule is each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can reroll wound rolls of 1, and if you're within an objective marker within rerolls, you can reroll all the wounds. So, and of course, the other nice thing is they can deep strike, so that helps too. So, a lot of good stuff there. That's probably it's the only squad he can go with, so that's the one I would put him with. Um, and then you're really only down to about 95 points left. So for me, I added a Grandmaster to go with those Terminators. Again, I'm kind of just embracing the eliteness of the character. Uh, he gets a better chance to fight. Whether you make them as Brotherhood Terminators or Paladins, he can go with either one of them. He's just kind of a nice all around unit for the Grey Knights. Believe it or not, that's 1,000 points. You've only got 6 squads in that whole thing for 1,000 points. These are elite. They do have the strength of them, though, is I believe every unit in here except the Dreadnought. Nope, I'm sorry, including the Dreadnought can deep strike. Wow, really? Holy crap. Okay. So yeah, so even the Dreadnought can deep strike. So really? I don't see deep strike on here. Why is it in the... Okay, I'll have to double check that. Let me double check that. I don't want to tell you the wrong rules. Yeah, he can deep strike. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Going to official rules, he can deep strike too. So everything in this army can deep strike. So that means you can start with, you know, your strike squad in strategic reserves. You can start with your purifiers on the table and then pick them up and drop them back off as part of your gates of affinity. Tons of stuff you can do. And of course, one of the coolest things is even your strike team, your lowly strike squad, they all have Nemesis Force weapons, which are 3 attacks in close combat, strength 6, -2 with 2 damage, and they're psychic. So every single bit of your units are equipped with some kind of major lethality. I mean, strength 6 is kind of okay, but you're talking about, um, you know, your purifiers with their Nemesis Force weapons can reroll the wound roll of 1. If they're within an objective, they can reroll all their wounds at strength 6. Your strike squad, same. They have different rule if you're within objective marker that you control. Okay, they have sticky objectives. Your Brotherhood Terminators, they've got Force Edge. Each time this unit makes an attack, a melee attack that targets a unit, excluding monsters or vehicles, improve their armor penetration. So they actually have an AP -3 unless they're fighting against monsters or vehicles. So very tough combination, very hard to shift. They all have invulnerable saves as well. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So they are all pretty tough. Your normal strike squad can scout if you choose not to deep strike them. And they also have rapid fire. So a fun army to play, a very elite. You're not gonna push these guys aside all that easily. They really kind of just dominate their table. They're obviously their weaknesses, even at 1,000 points, you're only talking about 20. What did I say? 28 models. So very elite. So, but you're gonna fight over every single inch of ground there. So very interesting, very fun. That's a good strong combat patrol to buy. The really good part about that, like I said, you buy a unit and a character and you're up to 1,000 points. If you want to, my recommendation here, and I just want to throw this out before I forget, if you're going to take Castellan Crow out for your Crusade, if you don't want to use that character, you can easily just sub in a brother captain. Oh no, sorry, the brother captain's Terminator armor. Excuse me. Let me just double check. I thought there was one. Oh, I do want to mention, of course, at this point in time, your Champions Titan from the Crucible is only about 90 points, so you could sub hit him straight in too. So that's about it. I mean, that's going to be the fun part. My intentions are we're going to get this Maelstrom book. We're going to go through this probably next week. I'm thinking we're going to do some fun Crucible Champions fun. If you have a unit or a faction that you want me to just choose out some hero types and stuff like that, leave a comment on the video. If you're want to just chat about the factions that I have left, you want to come on and talk to me about what you know about these factions, and I'll read them off again. Starting with Eldari, Leagues of Votan, we have Drakari, we have Gene Stealer Cult, and that's it. Then we are all caught up. I know, actually, I might as well just add this in here now. I know that they do have a new combat patrols. I think they announced. But I don't want to say this wrong here. All right. So new combat patrols. What did they just announce? Pre-order. There was, oh, that's right, the Red Corsairs Combat Patrol. If you want me to do Red Corsairs Combat Patrol, I'll gladly do that. If you want me to do the Corsairs, I can do that. As maybe I'll do that as part of the Eldari. We've already done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different Chaos ones already, so I don't know that I want to go down another Chaos one, but you know what? If you guys really want me to, I will gladly do it. We also, oh, that's right, the Kroot one. There's a Kroot one, Night Lords. I think there were 2, the Red Corsairs and the Eldari. So we can do those if you like. Just let me know what you're really interested in if you want to hear about it. Or we could just do it for fun. We'll see what happens. I'm not, again, I'll have to dig into Kroot because I'm not a big Kroot player. My son does play Tau, but he has no Kroot models at this point. The Night Lords would be really fun. I'm a big fan of the Night Lords, the Chaos Space Marines. And again, like, I think it's cool, but I think it's weird that they're including rhinos with all these different combat patrols lately. So, but we'll take it. I mean, both the Red Corsairs and the Night Lords have a rhino in it. I don't know if we're trying to get rid of stock of rhinos or what's going on, but then again, the Eldari Corsairs have a tank in there too. Who can tell? Who knows which way the direction of some of this stuff's going to go? I do notice that both the Night Lords and the Kroot one, which I think the Kroot one is a really good buy. And then those 2 sets of new characters, the Twin Lance, Stormbrow, they're all out of stock already. So if you were looking to get them, you kind of missed out. You're going to have to wait. Red Corsair is still available. The Eldar Corsairs is still available. There's also a Red Corsairs upgrade and transfers. Not a bad kit. Shoulders, couple melee weapons, couple of heads. Not super exciting, if you ask me, especially for $35 US. It just seems like quite a bit. But hey, if that's what you're looking for, it's worth every dime. You know, do like that new Reeve Captain. He's pretty awesome. Red Corsair Raiders, they're looking pretty cool too. And of course, oh, I did forget to mention they did put the rules out on all this stuff, including that Tyranid Prime with the Lash Whip. He's a pretty hot character, if you ask me. Him with a ton of Hormigants, he's going to be pretty nasty. So if that's what you're playing, that's what you're into, I think that's a good purchase. Other than that, I think that's about it. Again, like, I'm just going to say it one more time. If you made it this far in the video, just if there's a faction that anybody wants to have some input on or something like that, just drop me a comment on the video. These always get posted as the live, and then they'll get reposted probably over the weekend into the regular video feed. I do have a couple other things coming up, including a very big project that should be here not too long. And I want to put some notes on there as for some of the progress with that, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. So that's it for me. What else? I think I got everything. If you want to listen to Star Wars stuff, Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy with Todd and Ken, we have an episode coming out next Friday with a special guest. So keep up on that. We're going to make a couple of promotions that I can put up here on YouTube and as shorts and stuff like that. So we're going to work on that in the next couple, say, days, weeks, depending how it goes. and we're going to work on that and get some promotion. So you might see us on other YouTube channels. And if you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons and other gaming stuff, Lake Clan Legends for all your fun gaming stuff, D&D stuff mostly, and some other Warhammer content. Those are on every Sunday. And that's it for me. This is Todd from Table Ready, and we're here to help you to get you and your models table ready. So thanks for watching and have a great night.